Hello, how are you? Welcome to Hey Han. I'm your host, Hannah Fletcher, and today we have the lovely pleasure of speaking with Maria Rodriguez from the reality show Cosmic Love on Prime Video. Stay tuned. Everybody, this is Hannah Fletcher with Maria from Cosmic Love. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. It's good to see you again.
Hey, thank you so much for having me again, Hannah. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I'm so excited to speak with you, girl. I have so much to talk to you about. So let's get into it. I want to touch base with you. First of all, tell us a little bit about this show, Cosmic Love, that you were on. I've seen every episode. I know all about it, but tell everybody a little bit about this show and where you're at after having been on the show and now that it's out and about to the public.
So Cosmic Love is the first ever astrology dating show. It is on Prime Video and is basically based on 4 stars because obviously astrology is based on 4 elements. So we have the water element, the earth element, the fire element, and the air element. I'm actually the earth element, and we have 16 lovely singles there being matched with us. But before we're even matched, we're getting to know them. We're kind of making our own conclusions of like who we want and, all those things, which makes it very interesting. And, now that the show is out, it's been such an experience. I have people recognizing me even when I'm doing my freelance work, which is like amazing. The support from my family and my friends is like out of this world. I feel like every day people that I wouldn't even think is watching the show like write to me and like, oh my God, we're watching you. People are reaching out to my mother, which is such a I don't know, it's such a different feeling. You just feel so, you see your mom being so proud, my brothers and sisters being so proud, and it just like warms my heart. But even the DMs are just literally melt my heart every single day. The show's been out for almost 2 months now, and to this day, I get a DM every day just kind of telling me, I love you. I love, how you represented us. You're beautiful. Like, I really connected with you. A lot of women that are Capricorns or even just earth signs or have certain placements as me. So it's a very different experience that I've never felt before. I've always been working and a hardworking woman, and I feel like I've made my mom proud, but this is to another level because this is something that she gets to share. I get to share with everyone else that's watched the show.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love to hear. I love that you're factoring in your mom too, because I feel like a lot of people, especially after reality shows, they don't talk about how they'll be like, oh, I've had this happen to me, or this opportunity has now graced my plate because of the exposure. But nobody ever talks about how the family receives it and the family side of things. I love that your mom is so proud of you. And you look so beautiful on the show. You carried yourself so well, so professional, so well spoken. I mean, she should be proud. You did a great job on that show. You through and through, you were just such a beautiful person, truly.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you so much.
Of course. I want to talk about the DMs now, because that's one of my questions that I wanted to ask you. So you have people coming into your DMs every day. They've seen the show. They're aware of you. Did you kind of know going into this, or did you have a preordained idea that you were going to be in the role model seat? Did you even think about that, or did you expect that? What was that like for you?
Believe it or not, Hannah, you hear that? They're doing constructions. I don't know if you can see.
You're fine. They're doing construction here too. I can't hear anything.
I'm like, oh, it's driving me crazy. It's outside, so I cannot even say nothing. All right. Well, every step of the show, I really wanted to make sure that I was intentional with the way I even spoke, with the way I even moved. Even if you look at certain parts of the show, I even was reserved when it came to having my first kids, because I felt like, when you have people watching you and, coming from where I come from, that was one of the biggest things is of course I went there for love, but I also wanted to make sure that I represented women like me, people that come from where I come from. I am a Dominican woman, Afro-Latina, from Brooklyn. There's a lot of different cultures in me, and I'm a representation of so many. So when I went on this show, I just really wanted to make sure that I was very intentional with everything that I said, with everything that I moved, and that I was very true to myself, because regardless if I'm on a TV, people will read that and people will feel that. And I think that's what people felt of me, is that I was so genuine and I was, a representation of so many people. And it really was a big point for me. Like, I really wanted to make sure that I represented and that I really was a role model for little girls that looked like me and that maybe thought like, hey, I may never be in a platform like that. Like, that's what I wanted to put in people's minds. Like, hey, I did it. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm Latina. I'm Afro Latina. I'm Dominican. You can be here too if I'm here. So that always was like the top of my things in my head. Is like how I carry myself was so important, because people will watch this and they will take whatever it is that you put out there. And I wanted to make sure that what I put out there was good, you know, and was something that people can actually like learn from, but also be happy with.
Very much so. Well, and what I loved about watching it too is you can tell, especially on other reality TV shows. I feel like not so much with this one, at least from the audience's perspective. I don't know the nitty gritty. I don't know the behind the scenes, I don't know the secrets. I don't know what they kept and what they didn't. But
Yeah.
it didn't look like to me anybody got put in any particular like situations where they weren't being represented probably the way that they wanted to be. I felt like they were very, or at least if that was the case, it didn't come through. And especially in regards to you, there was never a moment where I was like, "Ooh, I bet that she didn't want that in there and it made it in there and she didn't mean for that." Like that's something that I was very happy to see too when I was watching the show. I was like, she's so well spoken. Every single time that you had your confessionals filmed and everything like that, you nailed everything that you said. It was great to see. I was very proud. And I'm loving that you're able to represent such a community of people too. And representation is such a thing that needs to just continue to move forward, and we need to see more representation. And that's so powerful that you're part of that movement. You should be so proud. And I can tell.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So my next question to you is, in terms of the show, what would you say was your biggest learning experience from being on Cosmic Love?
You know, I will say that my biggest learning experience from being on Cosmic Love was having an open mind and open heart. Understanding that no matter how much you prepare for something, you're never going to be fully 100% ready, because you don't have a handbook for life. You know, anything can change. Your mind can change. You know, your surroundings can change. You can get to know someone in a different level, and that can change your mind. So I'm a planner. I like to plan everything in my life, which is why I took 5 luggages because I felt like I needed to be over prepared. But this show really showed me that no matter how much you plan, no matter how much you prepare, things are going to change and life is going to take its own course. So having an open mind and having an open heart and being genuine, people are going to be able to actually, again, going back to the last question, that transfer through the screen. So it doesn't matter, even if you feel like, well, they're not going to notice if I'm responding this way, but I feel another way, they will. So kind of keeping an open mind, knowing that you are never going to be 100% ready for what life has for you, because you don't have a book for it. And then also being genuine to yourself. That is something that I personally learned that, again, worked out in my favor, because when people watch me, they're like, yeah, girl, that was you. Even people that know me, they're like, that was Maria. And that's something that I learned, is that if I would have done anything different, or if I would have been reserved, or if I would have maybe said this instead because it sounded better, people would have been able to pick that up, and it probably would have not been good. So again, keeping an open mind, open heart, being genuine, and being transparent. I think that's the things that I've learned the most.
Definitely. What I love about that is it sounds like you allowed yourself like that. I feel like that is the epitome of the definition of grace, allowing yourself grace, allowing yourself to be able to be in the moment and realize that you're in this absurd, beautiful, messy, fantastical type of process. And I love that your way of kind of dealing with that and going through it was just by allowing yourself the grace to be able to realize it. There's one scene in particular that I actually love the most from you, and it's the one where you're with all of the gentlemen, and I think it's right before you're about to make your first elimination. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is I love how worked up you got, and I love that you actually addressed the cameraman. You were like, guys, I really don't want to be filming right now. I love seeing that raw authenticity, and I love that they left that in the show. I think that was so beautiful. I really, really do. I don't know how you.
And that was a very touchy place for me, like people are like, why is she crying? She being dramatic. She didn't want that guy. I'm like, listen, it's not about if I had a romantic connection with them. I had different type of connection to these guys, and they were getting to know me, and they were actually taking their time and falling for me, and I actually were falling for them in different ways. So it was very hard for me. It was, I want to say, one of the most emotional, besides, of course, with the ending, but that was the first very like nerve-wracking moment that I had, and like that I didn't want to do it. Like I really did not want to do it. It was unexpected, and not only did it affect me, but one thing about me is like I can probably get through things easier. I'm very strong, but when I know it affects other people, it really gets to me. And like I just knew I was gonna hurt someone that genuinely liked me and that genuinely was a gentleman to me. And like I didn't even think about it. I feel like I blacked out a little bit when I was telling the camera, like, stop recording me. Like I this is not a moment, like some people even asked me, like, oh, did you meant to say that? I'm like, listen, I was going crazy. I didn't even know what was going on around me. I kind of forgot where I was at because I was just such in a it just felt like such an emotional space for me. And yeah, that was definitely, I was actually happy they left it because, people would have thought like it wasn't as, as important as it was for me. And it was a very like heartbreaking moment for me.
Yeah. No, it was very raw, it was very authentic, and it never read as any type of drama to me whatsoever. I remember actually sitting on my couch, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was watching it, and I started tearing up, and I'm actually tearing up at the thought of it because that's so hard to have to go through. You handled it so well, and yeah, I just wanted to give you my personal, like, tip of the hat because that was a really, really tough moment, and I can imagine too when the cameras are off. I mean, you're still only around those people. You're probably still fostering connections with the people even when the cameras aren't running. So that's
Exactly.
another thing that the audience has to bear in mind too. It's like just because you may not have seen her interact with this person and this person as much as this person doesn't mean that they're not interacting off camera. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So next I want to talk about kind of a segue. You mentioned your business. And I am so curious to ask you. I love business. I'm constantly trying to learn about it myself. When I was very young, I was very entrepreneurial. As I get older, it's kind of not as strong. And I would love to foster that characteristic about myself more and more as I get older. But talk to me about your business, whatever you can fill us in on. Tell the audience a little bit about M Beauty Party, and let's just start there. Yeah.
Yes. So M Beauty Party actually started with my mom. Me and my mom actually will sell makeup and just makeup to close friends and family since I've always been in the makeup world. So I've been a high-end makeup artist for about 11 years now. It's the only job I've ever had. And like I always had the high-end makeup. So a lot of people will ask my mom, and it was just kind of something to give my mom something to do while, I worked, and she would just sell it for me. And then in 2018, when I had the biggest position of my life, I was a regional makeup artist for Trish McElroy. I had over 40 stores in New York City. I decided to go to Dominican Republic and open my own business. And that's when we kind of legalized M Beauty Party. And M Beauty Party in Dominican Republic started as a wholesale distributing company. The reason is because we don't have Bloomingdale's, we don't have Sephora's, we don't have Ulta's, any of those things in my country. So I wanted to kind of make it easier for the stores or small businesses that are those Sephora's and are the Bloomingdale's and are the Saks to get the most popular and high-end makeup products. So I kind of became the makeup plug. And I started in my city, which is Santiago. And by the end of that year, by myself, literally no help, making my own network, like networking, my own connections, I ended up having 80 stores in Dominican Republic, being in over 6 cities. The pandemic happened, and then I got casted for the show. And I'm always thinking ahead, so I said, okay, so what can I do for my supporters? And I thought about the things that I did that were different from the other cast members. So if you watch on the show, I always carry a purse. I'm the only girl that has a purse. I'm always going around with a purse. In my green screen, I wore like a dress that had gloves, and a lot of actually the producers loved that about me. And they were just pointing out a lot of things that they were just like, is that you? Is that yours? Like, what's up? Like, I've never seen that, your style. So I kind of thought ahead, and I thought about the things that the supporters and the fans will love about me. And the minute I got back from the show, I started working on M Beauty Party, the MM collection. So the MM collection is actually dropping this Friday, which I'm so excited. And that's just kind of like a reflection of me on the show, my styles, the things that I kind of wear. I have a dress that is inspired by my green screen dress that is called the Jessica Rabbit dress. It is a purple dress, but with my own twist and style. I have purses coming out, hairpins. I have other tops. And as as the season goes and things happen in my life, I will be adding items. But this collection is really surrounding woman empowerment. I'm a very petite woman, and I feel like a lot of the times, I like clothes that are meant for women that are a little bit more curvy than me. So I had to kind of learn and style myself in a way that I feel classy but sexy, and that's kind of what I want to do with collection. I want to bring different items that you can utilize with your with your clothes at home, but you can also keep utilizing with my collection as it grows. And it's about woman empowerment. I want women to feel comfortable, wear things. I'm gonna be doing little reels where I teach women where to wear certain items so it can look, more curvy. You can look a little nicer. You can look a little more, defined. So like that's kind of like my image with this collection, is just kind of like bringing woman empowerment, body empowerment, and like even if you're an extra small or you're an extra large, like you can wear what I'm gonna be bringing out. So that's what's happening now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Listen, Maria, I am 5'2", so I am so excited to have somebody to look up to, because it is so hard being a petite person, and that's something that nobody really talks about too much, and it's like, oh, boohoo, you're small. But it's like, yes.
Oh, boohoo, everything fits you. Like, you
Yeah,
can't,
exactly.
no, I actually
God gave
can't.
you legs.
It's very limited for me. Like, and it's funny things. Like people think like, oh, you can wear leggings with a short, a tight little top. But it's like, no, I will look like a stick. I actually would not look good. So like that's what I'm trying to do. I just want to make it like easier for women to kind of like dress for their body, but then also dress for what they have in their minds. A lot of the times we picture outfits in our minds and then you put it on and it's so discouraging because it doesn't look how it looked on the phone or on the computer or at the mannequin. And like I learned as time went by to dress for my body type, which is why a lot of women are like, but you're small, but you have big booty, you're small, but you have nice boobs. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm dressing for my body type. And I think that's so important, is to dress for your body type. And that's what I want to do with M Beauty Party, the collection. Like that's my goal, is to make any woman feel that you can wear whatever you want as long as, you put it in a way that is good for your body type.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. So where did you learn? My brain is on overload, because that is something that I'll be honest with you. So when I was in college, when I was earlier in my 20s, I cared a lot. And then what happened is I moved to LA. I graduated from college, and then I work with a company, and then I work online, and then we had COVID. So it was like, I only cared about what I looked like from here up. Here down, I didn't care anymore. Like I was just like, I'm done trying to style it. And then with COVID, getting more at beta where we can go back out and about now, it's just like, I have no idea how to style myself anymore. And I'm petite. I'm always in the Banana Republic petite section or Ann Taylor petite. That's it. That's the only two places I can go. So where did you learn how to style the clothes? Where did you gain knowledge and understanding for those who may be kind of in my shoes, where they want to try, but they don't know really where to start?
One thing that I will say that helps me a lot is organizing my closets. I have 2 closets, and kind of like I haven't anything that you can see, also kind of fixing your closets for your season. So I started doing that maybe 2 to 3 years ago, where I kind of like change or revamp my closets depending of like what season we're in, and the colors as well. So right now I'm in the fall, you're gonna see me wear a lot of browns and nudes and like mauves because we're in the fall. So I kind of just switch my closet, my purses, my shoes where I can see them. And then also I change it depending on the seasons. And then I realized that, my body is not going to be the same as the person that I'm looking at on, on social media. So try not to be so hard on yourself, try to like embrace whatever you have. I'm small, and I realize, hey, there's a lot of women that want to be small like me. So why not be happy about being small and embracing my body type? That helps you when you mentally kind of celebrate yourself and you accept yourself for who you are. And it helps you to kind of understand that, yeah, you might be different than this girl, but there's a reason why you're different from her, because she has this, but guess what? You have this. So kind of just be kind to yourself, fix your closet where you can see things. And then another thing that helps me, and I'm just learning to do, is utilizing, like sometimes you buy a two-piece and in your mind you only want to wear that two-piece with that clothing.
Yes.
Try to change it up. So it say if you have a skirt and it has a top, change the top, put it with another top. Don't be so focused on how you bought it and just wear it like that, because then that's when you're like, well, I already wore this, I don't want to wear this again. But you don't understand that you probably wore it, you probably didn't take no pictures, nobody probably even see it with it, they didn't even see you with it on. So now if you wear it with something else and you pair it with another pair of shoes, it looks completely different. So I think that just playing with your wardrobe, don't be hard on yourself, fixing things depending on the seasons, and really having, I have small closets, I'm in New York City, but fix it in a way that it makes you feel good when you look in your closet. I think that helps a lot. Like when you go in your closet and you see your purses in one place, even if you have your heels in the bottom and the boots are here, like, you know, okay, this is here, this is here, this is here. It makes it so much easier for you to just grab things and put them together, instead of like having all your shoes together, you don't even know where they're at. Having all your purses under the bed, having, you know, like, make it look like aesthetically good. So when you kind of open your closet, you're like, oh, I know where this is at. Oh, I can wear this. I can put this together. Boom. It's so easy, instead of like making your room upside down because you cannot find a t-shirt. Like, literally. I would say like those would be my tips, because that's what I try to do, and it has made it so much easier for me, like so much easier.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing those tips. I'm definitely going to take that into consideration. I'm not like completely disorganized. I have like all of my shoes are in my closet, don't get me wrong. However, I like the organization tip. I like knowing my immediate options. I think that when I have structure, it's actually going to let my mind kind of just be like, okay, this is what I'm working with, what I have.
It's so much easier.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, that's so, oh girl, I'm excited. I'm gonna go organize my closet. Listen.
Yes.
I'll send you pictures on Instagram.
Yes, write on your shoe boxes too. I started doing that too. You write on it, because sometimes you forget, I have a bunch of shoes. Write on your boots, be like nude boots, white boots, like make it easier, because sometimes you put it in a different way where you can't even see the box. So like write around the boxes, so then you see like what shoes it is, and you're not opening 7 pairs of shoes looking for one shoe. Like that tends to happen too if you have a lot of shoes and clothes.
That's smart, because otherwise I'll just get stressed out. I'll go to like the second or third pair, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? Never mind. Like I'm just gonna just go with the go-tos. I don't want to go with the go-tos. I want to take.
You want to use everything you have, you know?
Yeah. Definitely. I need to be better about that for sure. You have such great tips. You should start like a Reels series of like all these different tips. I think this would be super helpful. Just like even the organization tips, because like I'm organized, but not in the way it's functional, but it's not inspiring. I think there's a difference. And I like your way.
I'm organized too, and until I started doing it, that's when it became like even easier. I can put an outfit together in a few minutes just because of the way I organize my closets, and like the way I open, and I'm like, oh, everything looks so pretty. Like, okay, I wear these heels. Like, you know, it's just like, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I'm excited. Thank you for sharing. All right. So my final question, just to kind of wrap everything up with a bow, bring it all full circle, is, so we've talked about your dating experience with Cosmic Love and being on the show, and we've talked about your business. If you were to offer a piece of advice in terms of dating and in terms of business, launching a business, anything within these two subcategories, what would that piece of advice be?
So when it comes to business, I will say be protective of your ideas. You know, I'm very big on not speaking about things until they're done. You can have selected people that you talk to. So if you have a mentor, me, my mother's blessing is everything to me. So I, go to her and I ask you, what do you think? So be protective of your ideas. Also understand that sharing your ideas with a lot of people that maybe don't have the same mindset as you can be dangerous, because sometimes people won't look at the bigger picture because their mind is not as open as yours. So if you come to them and say, hey, I want to make $1 million in a year, and they haven't even thought about how to make $10,000 in a year, you're kind of secluding yourself to their mindset, because now they're talking based on their experiences. So make sure you speak to the right people, because if you speak to someone that doesn't have an open mind or doesn't think big, it can actually actually affect your way of thinking, because now you're having self-doubt. But in reality, that's that person's perspective. That's not your perspective. So I would say that, and think big, dream big, understand that everything is possible. Anything you can imagine has been done. And if it has not been done, then you can be the first one. We have so many people that has been the first in everything, even when it came to light bulbs. So just think big. It's so many things that have been created by people that never thought that it was actually going to be able to work, and it did. So one thing about me is that I think so big that people come around me and they're like, what is this girl on? Like she's thinking about things that I haven't even thought about. But guess what? I believe in myself, and believe in yourself. Risks, take a lot of risks. If you don't take risks, you're never going to learn. And guess what? It's never a loss. It's always a win at the end of the day. Whether you succeed, and now you have an experience that will actually help you for the next time if you didn't succeed. So if you take a risk and you actually go for what you want, what is the worst that can happen? That you learn, that you got an experience, that you actually understand what you're trying to do a little bit better. And lastly, when it comes to business, research. Put yourself in a predicament like you're already doing it. So like, even if there's certain things that you need, requirements to actually achieve your goal, already start doing research so you can prepare yourself once you're at your goal, and it's easier. So I like to do a lot of research for any business I'm getting into. So if I have a short-term rental business, I actually went to a school that was actually a free course. And I just went and I spoke about, hey, I want to open this business. And I just learned everything about that business. Now, by the time that I had to buy furniture, get an LLC, I already knew everything I had to do because I have a booklet of all these things that I researched. It's kind of like keeping yourself in school. I always like my friends would hit me up and I'm like, I'm studying. They're like, what you studying? I'm studying right now. I'm studying a marketing plan because I'm coming out with MBD Party. I need to work on marketing. So now I study marketing. So it's kind of self-educating yourself. Make sure you self-educate yourself. Don't just wait around. Look for free resources. Look online. Look for someone that's doing the same thing and use that to kind of add fuel to whatever you're doing, and just kind of like educate yourself. So those are the few things I would say, for business. Take risks, educate yourself, dream big, and protect your ideas from small-minded people.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this. You're so motivational, inspirational. I just love speaking with you. Every time I have had this opportunity to speak with you, whether it's verbally, even if we just go back and forth on Instagram, like, you leave me so happy. You're such a great person. And I'm so glad that you've been so blessed. And I'm so glad that you've taken your blessing and that you're able to capitalize on it and to teach and to educate others. And I mean, it's all uphill for you, Maria. I'm so excited to see.
Thank you, Hannah. And thank you for, being so caring, being always like, celebrating me. You really make me so happy and you really melt my heart. It's nice when you meet someone how we met and we stay in touch. I got interviewed by so many people, and like, you were one of the few ones that I still stay in touch with, and I can still do things like this. And this really makes me feel so grateful. I'm honored to be here today and for actually, talking to you and giving me an opportunity to talk about things that maybe we weren't able to touch base. And I'm here for any time you need me, girl. If you need tips for your closet, FaceTime me, I got you.
I will. I'm going to. FaceTime you in the Container Store. I'll be like, all right, I'm
yes. Which one is it? This one.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Go ahead and plug any social media for our audience to be able to follow you and to keep up with you.
Yes. So my personal Instagram is going to be xMariaRBeauty. And then we have my business page, which is MBeauty Party. And that's where you guys can keep up with me. It should be the same for TikTok as well. But I'm mainly on Instagram. That is like the place that I'm mainly on. And you guys can follow everything that I do. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you so much again for coming on. And like I said, thank you. I'm so proud of you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much to Maria for coming on the show and for speaking with us all about MBeauty Party and her experience on Cosmic Love. Everybody make sure to follow Maria so you guys can stay up to date on everything that's going on in her world. Maria, best of luck, and I'll be speaking to you soon, I'm sure, and seeing you soon too. To my audience this week, I want you to challenge yourself to trust the process. By this, I mean, give yourself up to divine power. Give yourself up to divine timing. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be right now. Let yourself not succumb to micromanagement and anxiety. Let yourself just be. And I promise you that if you just lock into the universe and lock into divine timing and just let it go, I promise that you're going to feel better. And you're going to be open, and you're going to be receptive, and you're going to be able to see what is going to be thrown right in front of your face. So just trust yourself, trust the process, and trust that you're exactly where you need to be right now at this point in time. What you want and what you believe that you deserve will come to you. I promise. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Hey Han. As always, it is a pleasure to be your host. Again, my name is Hannah Fletcher. I love you guys so much. I am so excited for everything that is in store for you this season. I will see you through the screen. Stay safe, God bless, and catch you next time. Bye, guys.